Now we're coming into the new year, and lots of us are stirred up with all sorts of feelings this time of year. Even though people are having parties, they're opening presents, this is the biggest time of year for people to be unhappy. And one of the reasons why we're so unhappy is because we're carrying around regrets. So what we're going to do is we're going to work on letting go of all of our regrets this past year so we can move forward on a clean slate into the new year and be free to look forward and move forward to achieve new goals. Follow along. All right, welcome to the Power of Quiet, showing you how to let go of every bit of unhappiness so you can live in the moment, feel free and alive, and see that you can achieve whatever you want in life. And what we do is just show you simple, practical, improvable ways that you can do this on your own. So if that's something that you're into and you're new here, hit subscribe. And if you like what we do here, hit like. And let's jump into it, what we're going to look at today. Because coming up at the end of the year, we're looking forward to the new year. Everything's going to be great next year. We're going to set all sorts of goals and resolutions. But as you know, it's one thing to say it and one thing to have these intentions, but it's another thing to really see them follow through. And we're going to show you a big way that you could have all of your goals and your intentions for the new year just fall right into line and be easy for you to accomplish. And what we're going to do is let go of the baggage of regrets. See, the reason most people fail on their resolutions is because they're carrying this baggage with them of regrets. And it shows up with this attitude most of us have going into the new year. Like, boy, 2022 sucked. I hope 2023 is going to be much better. But when we're looking at that, you see, one of the things that we often say and what we do here is how you do anything is how you do everything. And when you're holding on to regrets and you're wanting to get away from them, like, oh, I want to get away from this crappy bad year that didn't meet up to my expectations, and this year's going to be better. You're still holding that in mind, and you're going to keep creating that again and again. You see, one of the things that we discover in doing this work that we do here on this channel is that the mind is a creative instrument, and it deals in pictures. So if I say, don't fall down, what do you get a picture of? Falling down. Right? So we were like, oh, I want to just leave this past year behind. You're not leaving it behind. You're carrying it with you. You're holding it in mind. And that mind being a creative instrument and doing the same thing that it's always been doing, if you keep relying on that mind, you're just going to keep getting the same results. And like I said, one of the baggages that holds us down and keeps us creating the same thing again and again, the same thing that we're regretting over and over again, are those very regrets. So I'm going to guide you through a simple exercise. We're going to go through each month of this year, just month by month, and examine anything that we're regretting, that we want to change, and just let that go. Just a simple releasing process. Now, sometimes I get feedback saying that what we do here sounds repetitive. Right? I just repeat the same thing over and over again. And as we go through each month, it might sound a little bit repetitive. But if you really genuinely follow along and you're looking to identify those regrets and sincerely just drop them, it's not going to be boring or repetitive. And you're going to see the value of just letting this stuff go and feel that freedom that comes from doing that. All right, so just follow along. Now, some of the regrets that we're going to be looking for as we examine our past year here is things like, oh, I made a mistake and I lost a bunch of money, or I did something stupid, or some accident, some disaster happened. Oh, I wish that didn't happen. Boy, that set me back. Or I had a disagreement with somebody, and now we're not talking to each other anymore. Or I set goals. This past year, I had all sorts of things, like I wanted to get out of 2021. That was a bad year. And 2022 was supposed to be my year. I had all these goals, but I never followed through. I just slacked off, and here I am again. Right? Or I had a health crisis, or for whatever reason, my life just sucked. At various times. So these are the things we're going to look for, and I'm going to show you how to identify your feelings and just let those feelings go. Now, as far as letting go, it's just a very simple thing. I mentioned before that the mind is a creative instrument and it deals in pictures. But here's the thing about the mind. The mind does not have any intelligence of its own. It's a simple machine. The mind works just like a computer. And basically what the mind is, it's just a recording and playback machine. That's it. It just stores data, records it in, and then it plays that data back to you, whether you want to listen to it or not. Like, you go through your day and you do something stupid. You make a mistake. And what does your mind do all the rest of the day? Oh, why did I do that? That was so dumb. I wish I didn't do that. And it just keeps complaining about it on and on and on. Even when you try to go to sleep, it still won't shut up. And that's all the mind does, is it records things, it plays it back to you. Again, whether you want to listen to it or not, it won't shut up. But it doesn't erase anything from the neck up. Where you can erase all that negativity, all that repetitive noise, is from the neck down, in your stomach or chest area. This is your feeling center here. And whenever we have things that we don't like, we have feelings. And we're pushing down those feelings like we don't like them. Feelings like regrets, fear, frustration, anger, guilt, and so on. All right? We don't like those negative feelings. They're like, oh, you're bothering me, get out of here. We push them down. But when we push them down, we're actually holding on to them. And we could feel that in our stomach or chest. So when we think about something that happened that we don't like, right? Before we get into going through each little instance throughout the year, just look at one particular instance, one thing that happened this last year, like, oh, I wish that didn't happen. Right? Maybe you made a mistake, or maybe some disaster happened. Or maybe something you were expecting didn't pan out, and you're left frustrated or feeling down about yourself. Just think about something like that. Just one incident this past year. Now, as you're thinking about it, just close your eyes and put your head down towards your stomach, your chest area. And you'll feel a contraction there, like a tightness, clutching feeling. And that's you pushing down on that feeling and pushing down on that information and actually holding on to it. And like I said, if you hold on to it, you're going to keep doing it again and again and again. Now, instead of pushing down on it, wherever you feel that contraction, open up an imaginary window or door right in front of that, right? See, think about that thing that happened that you wish didn't happen. And just put your attention down towards your stomach or chest. Like I said, if it helps you, close your eyes, put your head down, just really focus there. And notice that tightness, that contraction. Now open up an imaginary window or door right in front of wherever that contraction is, wherever you feel it. And imagine that energy. It's just energy passing through that door. And just let that energy leave. It wants to leave. It's been wanting to leave all this time, but you've been holding it down. Now just open up, open that door, and just let that energy go. Now you may just feel it, right? With that intention of opening the door, you can just feel that pressure leaving, kind of like opening up a valve on a pressure cooker, like just relieving that pressure. Or you can visualize it. You can just see it as smoke or water flowing out, whatever, however you want to look at it. There's no real wrong way to do it. Just let that energy leave. And open up and let that energy leave some more. And more. And even more. And even more. And notice how you feel. Just notice if you feel a little bit lighter. That's what we're looking for. It's just a lighter feeling. And that's showing you simply that you don't have to fight with these feelings anymore, or manage them, or hold them down, right? You could just let them go and be free. And the more you let these go, the more all that negative noise just quiets from your mind. And then you find yourself, like all of these masters talk about being in the present moment. You just naturally find yourself present, happy, and in charge. So now your mind is not just throwing all sorts of negativity at you. It's nice and peaceful and quiet. And that mind being a creative instrument, now you're in charge of it, and you can direct it to create what you really want without all that negativity getting in the way, without all those I can'ts, I'm not good enough, I should, I shouldn't, and so on. None of those obstacles are there anymore. So you're free to just see what you want and create it. Nice and easy. All right, so let's clean up all the garbage in this past year so we can move forward with great intentions into 2023. All right, so let's go back and take a look at January. And see if there's anything that happened in January that you want to change. Just go back there. Now, wanting to change something. See, want equals lack. And wanting to change is a lacking feeling. Feeling that, oh, I can't change it, but I want to. But it's impossible. You can't change what happened. But you can change how you feel about it. All right? So look at something that you want to change in January. And again, just bring your attention to your stomach or chest. Feel that contraction. And it's that tight, unnatural feeling, negative feeling. Doesn't feel good. That feeling in your stomach or chest, that tightness. And that's that lacking feeling that you're holding on to. And it's feeding this idea in your mind of, oh, I want to change something, but I can't. So open up and just let that energy go. And let go of wanting to change. Because you continuing to want to change that, it's impossible to change it. And all you're doing is you're just generating a lacking, uncomfortable, clenching feeling that keeps you repeating the same mistakes again and again. Right? So just let that go. It's just a decision. Just open up. Let that energy go. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. and even more. And notice how you feel. And see if you're still wanting to change that. And you see how ridiculous that is? You can't change it. But you can change how you feel now. Just let go. Let go of wanting to change. And if want equals lack, if you let go of wanting, you get the opposite of lack. By letting go of wanting, you move into having. And that's provable. Try it out. Now let's take a look at February. See if there's anything that you're regretting about February. Maybe something happened. You made a mistake or had an accident or told somebody something that you wish you didn't tell them. And see if there's a contraction in your stomach or chest. Open up that imaginary door. And just let that energy go. Just feel it leave. It wants to leave. All you have to do is just open up that door. And that feeling is happy to leave. So just get out of the way. Let it go. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And see if there's anything you're still wanting to change in February. If so, just let that go. And even more. Now let's take a look at March. And see if there's anything that you want to change that happened in March. Or if there's anything that you don't like about what happened in March. There's no point in holding on to it. Just let it go. See if there's a tightness or contraction there in your stomach or chest. Open up. And let that energy go. And let it go even more. And more. And even more. And let go of wanting to change anything that happened in March. Now let's take a look at April. See if something happened in April that you don't agree with. And you're wanting to change. And you'll see a contraction there. Open up. And just let that go. And let that go even more. And even more. And see if you're still wanting to change what happened in April. All right, now it's just a decision. Could you let go of wanting to change it? See, it's ridiculous. You're looking into the past. It's already done. All right, just let go of wanting to change it. You're just keeping yourself stuck in the past when you're doing that. Just let that go. Let go of that wanting to change. Let that desire go. You're in charge. You can let it go. It's just a decision. Yes or no. And let it go some more. I let go of wanting to change even more. Now let's take a look at May. See if something happened in May that stirred you up, that you wish didn't happen. All right, if you keep on wishing it didn't happen, you're holding on to it, and guess what? It's going to keep happening again and again and again until you clean that up. All right, so if you feel a contraction now, just open up, let that energy go. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And let go of wanting to change anything that happened in May. Now let's take a look at June. See if something happened in June that you regret. And bring your attention to your stomach or chest. Open up. And just let go of any energy that you feel there. Any energy that you've been sitting on, suppressing. All right, just let that go. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And could you let go of wanting to change anything that happened in June? Maybe you had some expectations and they didn't pan out. And you're still pissed off about that. What sense does it make for you to keep being pissed off about that? What are you holding in mind? And what do you reckon that you're going to keep creating if you continue holding that in mind? All right, so just open up, let that go. And just let go of any expectations, any unrealized dreams, ambitions that you had. Just let that go. That'll free you to realize your dreams now. Otherwise, you're stuck in the past. So let go of wanting to change that. And more. And even more. Now let's take a look at July. And see if there's anything that you're holding on to about July. Wanted to change, frustrated, or so on. Just bring your attention to your stomach or chest. See if you have a contraction, a tight feeling there. Open up that imaginary door and just let that energy go. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. Now let's take a look at August. And see if something happened in August that you don't agree with. Maybe something that you felt you got stuck on, jammed up about. If so, just open up. Let that go of wanting to change that. Just let that energy go. And more. and more. And even more. And even more. And see if there's still anything that you want to change that happened in August. If so, just let that go. And even more. Now take a look at September. See if you have any regrets. Anything you're like, oh, I wish that didn't happen. I wish I could just go back in time, erase that mistake, and never have had that happen. Well, it did happen, and by wanting to change it, you're just holding it in mind. The smart thing to do is let that go. So first, open up, let that energy go. Anything that you're feeling now in your stomach or chest, you'll feel that contraction. Right? It's just you wanting to change. It's a lacking feeling. Right? So just open up and let that energy go. And more. And even more. And even more. And let go of wanting to change anything that happened in September. Now let's take a look at October. What happened in October? Anything you have regrets about? Open up. Just let that go. And more. And more. And more. And even more. Now see if you're still wanting to change what happened in October. Maybe you made a mistake. Could you let go of wanting to change that? Yes or no? And just let go of wanting to change it some more. And more. And even more. And even more. Now let's take a look at November. All right, and it's just around the corner. Probably still fresh on your mind. Something that, that happened. All right, well, think about that and see if there's a contraction that shows up. And again, that contraction is just your body letting you know you're pushing down on those feelings and you're holding on to that negativity. All right, let go of holding on to it. All right, just open up and let that go. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And see if there's still anything that you want to change. That happened in November. Maybe somebody said something to you that you didn't like. Or maybe you said something to somebody and you wish you didn't. Right, well, what sense does it make to hold on to that? You're just going to keep yourself unhappy. You're going to keep holding that problem in mind. All right, so just bring your attention to your stomach or chest. Open up and let that energy go now. And more. And even more. And more. And even more. Now let's take a look at December. Maybe you've been rushing around. Maybe it's been hectic. Maybe you've been busy trying to please everyone, and they're still unhappy, and you feel bad about it. See if that brings up any tightness or contraction now in your stomach or chest. Open up and just let that energy go. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And could you let go of wanting to change anything that happened now in December? And just let that go. And just let it all go. Now let's take a look at this upcoming year and see if you're worried about anything or you have any fear about what 2023 is going to bring, or any apprehension about it, any concerns. There's a saying that we have, fear it, appear it. Because remember, the mind is a creative instrument. If you have a fear, you're holding it in mind, you're actually going to pull it right at you. Smart thing to do is let that fear go. So, whatever it is that you're fearing, just get in touch with your stomach or chest, feel that contraction. That's you fighting with the fear. Let go fighting with it. Let that fear come up now. And open up and let that fear arise. And let it just go right out that door now. What do you need to carry that fear around for? How does it help you? It doesn't make you smart. It just makes you like a deer staring at headlights, getting ready to get run over. That's all the fear does. So just open up. You don't need to fight with the fear or make it wrong. Just welcome it up. Let it leave. It wants to leave. Every negative feeling wants to leave. Just let it leave now. Just out that door, nice and easy. And all you have to do is just get out of the way and just watch it pass by. And watch it leave some more. And more. And even more. And moving into the new year, take a look to see if there's somebody in your life that you have an issue with. Somebody that you've been resisting. Now, I strongly recommend to start off the year in the right direction and set a goal. Allow myself to love so-and-so. Whether it's your boss, your coworker, your mother, your father, your spouse, or just some person in your life. It's only in your mind that you have a problem. And as long as you keep holding that in mind, oh, I don't like what so-and-so does, I'm resisting them, you're going to keep holding that in mind and you're going to have that problem. And it's your creation. It's got nothing to do with them. It's your picture. And that's provable. Let that picture go. You're going to see everything out there change. All right? So just take a look at, I allow myself to love so-and-so completely and unconditionally. Maybe your ego is saying, no, I can't do that because they're an idiot or they did me wrong. Well, what you're doing is you're holding on to a lacking feeling. And that is you who's doing it. And even if you insist, I'm right and they're wrong, so what? You get to be right and you get to have a problem. How smart is that? Now see if you're disapproving of this person. Could you let go of disapproving of them? Yes or no? And don't do it for them, do it for you. If you're disapproving of them, how does that feel? Who has to walk around with that feeling? And who's creating it? They're not doing it, that's you. Could you let go of disapproving of them? Yes or no? And a little bit more. And a little bit more. And more. And even more. And even more. And notice how that feels. Just see if it feels a little bit lighter. Notice the difference? Now, could you give them some approval? Why not? That's a smart thing to do. And don't do it for them, do it for you. If you're loving, what do you get to walk around feeling all day? Love. That's your world, and that becomes your creation. That's your reflection. And that's going to create abundance in your life. Try it. All right, so could you give that person some love and approval? No reason, just because. And could you give them some more love and approval? Just because. And more. Yes or no? And more. And more. And even more. And remember, love is the answer. Let go of whatever's in the way. It's just your thinking. Clear up your thinking, and your life becomes perfect. What I recommend is sitting down, doing some homework. Let go of any remaining regrets. Just feel that contraction. Let it all go. And watch what happens. The more you just let it go, you just see yourself getting freer and freer and freer. And then your mind is not cluttered up with all this noise, and you become single-focused. And that creative mind of yours becomes laser-focused. And this is a state in which you can create and execute and carry out all of your goals, see them to fruition. Not just as a dream, not just as, oh, I wish this will happen, I've got this new resolution, everything's going to change, and it just comes from wanting and wishing, but it never happens, and then you're left regretting that. Right? This is how you break that pattern, free yourself, and have what you really want. And also, make an intention now that I'm going to release. I'm going to let all of this negativity go because it all belongs to me, right? If I don't let it go, who else is going to let it go? A lot of us, we're looking for someone else to do it for us, right? This guru or this expert. They're going to say just the smartest, rightest thing that's going to make all the difference, and I'm going to be free of all my misery. It doesn't work that way. What works guaranteed 100% is that you take responsibility. You make a decision. I'm going to release no matter what. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if I don't like that feeling, I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to love it. I'm going to open up and let it leave. I'm going to let all of it go. And see, when you make an intention like that, everything in life is an intention. And you're not looking out there for stuff to happen. You realize that it all comes from you. And every intention that you make culminates in your decision. Right? I decide to be rich, or I decide to be poor. I decide to be sick. I decide to be healthy. I decide to be happy, or I decide to be miserable. Everything is your decision. And most of us, we're not bothering to make intentions. Sure, we set resolutions, but we're doing it from a place of lack, and it never carries out. But if we use releasing and set intentions, we start to see, oh, it is my picture, and it is my decision, and I don't have to be a slave to all the problems that my mind is telling me that I have. Because if you don't make intentions, you just set yourself up on automatic. And whatever it is that you're still keeping in your mind runs your life. And you're a slave to it. Right? Don't let your mind run your life anymore. You take charge. Take responsibility. Right? Just set an intention. I'm going to release this year, no matter what. And do the steps, do the work that we do here. And if you want a real leg up on the work, you can join me this month. I'm going to be kicking off a new 6-week course called the Conscious Creation Master Course to show you how to remove all the obstacles, all the I can'ts out of your mind, all the lack out of your mind. And what's left over when you do that is I can. What's left over is abundance, happiness, and freedom. So make this your year. Make a strong intention. I'm going to release, and I'm going to go free. If you ever listened to Lester, he said, how long does it take to do a 3-week job? 3 weeks or less. That's much less than a whole year. If you set a strong intention and you release, you can go free this year or less. Prove it. Find out for yourself. And if you, like I said, if you want a real leg up, join me in the new 6-week course. I'll put a link to it up here and in the description below. It's a lot of fun, and you're going to see what you can do when you let go of all of your resistance and all that negative wanting that you've been doing your whole life, that the whole world has been doing. It's false. Find out, when you let it go, who you really are. The real you. The unlimited you. So prove it. And make 2023 the best year ever.